Welcome back to the Zero Lab. Today we are going to be taking a look at the new Terapagos EX deck now that Stellar Crown is live on the TCG Live. Today we're playing it with the Duskull, Dusclops, Dusknoir line, a Pidgeot in there, the Noctowls, Briar, Area Zero, all that good stuff that could make Terapagos a very strong deck in this new format. So we're going to jump into the ladder here, see how this deck works out. Obviously this is some of our first games testing with this new Terapagos EX deck, so we'll play as optimally as possible and just give you guys an idea of how this deck is looking. We lose the coin flip here, and we'll see if our opponent chooses to go first or second. Waiting on the opponent here. Server's a little slow today. Obviously, this is, the set is newly out, so a lot of people playing today. Starting off with a Hoot Hoot, a very good hand here actually with multiple Nest Balls, Ultra Ball, all that good stuff. Nest Ball obviously can find us that Fan Rotom that we want to see on our turn one. Our opponent is playing something interesting. I guess we'll see. They got the Frostlass in there. And we'll see what they're playing. We get Dusclops off of that mulligan. Fan Rotom, obviously, coming off of that top deck. Very strong top deck there for us. That means we can go use our Nest Balls to find Pidgey and Terapagos. We have Hoot Hoot already active, so we're going to Fan Call for a Hoot Hoot and 2 Noctowls. And then we might as well play this Nest Ball and get Duskull down since we have the Dusclops in hand. Now we're going to have Ultra Ball Rare Candy with the Noctowl to be able to get our Pidgeot EX up. End our turn here and see what our opponent has in store for us. Buddy Buddy Poffin coming down from our opponent. Looks like they're playing the item lock. All right, they're item locking us today. So the nice thing is they can't item lock us turn one, I don't believe, and then we're not going to care too much about that after. Don't really want to Ultra Ball away this Briar, so hoping to top deck something that lets us keep that Briar. Obviously, Briar able to take us an extra prize card if our opponent has 2 prize cards remaining. So that'll be nice. Our opponent gusting up our Pidgey and just passing. Not a good start for our opponent. Chloris can find us Stadium plus Energy. Okay, that's probably good. So we're going to evolve into the Noctowl here. We're going to go find ourselves a Rare Candy and a Feather Ball. That finds us our Pidgeot EX. Let's just make sure the Pidgeot is in there. It is. It's Rare Candy, Feather Ball. Going to guarantee the Pidgeot for us. Now we don't have to worry about what we're Ultra Balling away. Rare Candy into that Pidgeot EX. And now we can... Let's see. We could... I'm just going to search my deck quick here. We could potentially Rare Candy into Dusknoir, except both of our Dusknoirs are prized. Okay. But I do think I want to get Prime Catcher. I want to knock out that Venonat. So we're going to go Prime Catcher, and then we'll Chorus for the Energy and the Stadium here. Evolve into Dusclops. Chorus for Energy and Stadium. Prime Catcher the Venonat. Go into Terapagos. Attach, see how much we're doing. 130. And I'm going to save the Stadium as a Stadium bump because this is sort of a control deck. They may be playing like a weird Stadium that could be annoying for us. So I'm just going to save. I'm going to save that Stadium in hand since we don't have anything additional to bench now anyway. We do get the Dusknoir off the prizes, which is very good. And they're giving us Artisan. Not that they're going to take a knockout here, so our bench is still full, but that would be cool if we could Artisan for another Duskull. They're going to get that Frostlass going, that Freezing Shroud going to be doing damage to basically all of our bench sitters here, which is a little bit annoying. But we do have the Pidgeot to consistently keep finding Gust, so if they don't get another Venonat down, we can just Gust that Venonat and knock it out and make sure that they can't item lock us. Putting down another Snorunt, they have the Buddy Buddy Poffin, finding Dunsparce and Venonat. And with the Dusknoir plus Pidgeot to find us boss, we can just keep targeting down those Venonats, which is going to be very annoying for our opponent, I believe. Countercatcher coming down onto the Fanrotom. Had a feeling that they might try to Gust something there. The funny thing is we actually can just attack with the Fanrotom. We have our Jet Energy. So I'm going to first evolve into the Dusknoir. We're going to quick search here for a boss's orders if it's in the deck. And it is. We are going to boss's orders their Venonat. Then we are going to Cursed Blast, killing their other Venonat, and they concede. They can kind of see where that game was going. We were going to be able to get another Duskull down. We had the Hoot Hoot still out to find Rare Candy and get another Dusknoir, so we're going to take another 2-prize turn next turn. So that was going to be rough for them. We'll jump into another game here and see if we can't hit a more meta-relevant deck with this Terapagos deck. All right, this looks like it could be Raging Bolt. That would be cool. We're going to choose heads. I do think we want to go first if we win the coin flip, but we've lost the coin flip. Even though we're going up against Raging Bolt, which typically wants to go second, I do think that Terapagos wants to go first because it can't attack on the first turn of the game. Thing is, our Fanrotom can attack. The Fanrotom actually has a pretty cool attack, but we don't really have the energy to be attacking with the Fanrotom. Our opponent chose to go second, so I'm not going to start the Terapagos because I don't want them to get that that first prize card of the game. All right, in a difficult position here, because we want to Ultra Ball for Fanrotom. And I think that just means we have to get rid of Iono and Jet Energy. But Fanrotom is so strong here. We're just going to put it into play. We're going to Fan Call. And we're going to grab ourselves 2 Hoot Hoots and a Noctowl. We have the Feather Ball in hand to go get Pidgeot EX next turn. We have Rare Candies in deck. All right, so we're in a good spot with that Fan Call. So we're going to bench Pidgey, bench Hoot Hoot, bench Hoot Hoot. And I don't think I can safely bench the Terapagos right now. I just don't want them taking that first prize card of the game. Or those first 2 prize cards of the game. They've got Squawkabilly, so they probably could have a pretty good turn 1. So I think we're just going to pass here. If they just knock out the Duskull, we can evolve into Pidgeot and just retreat out of it. So that is all right. We also have Prime Catcher in deck. And with the Terapagos not able to one-shot the Raging Bolts necessarily, we need to target down their consistency Pokemon like the Ogerpons and the Squawkabilly anyway. But they had to squawk away a lot of stuff there. That Pheasantipity, Lost Vacuum, not really important to us here. That Palpad, though, and the Pheasantipity, tough things to vacuum away on that turn 1 of the game. And we've just gotten a very good top deck. So we're going to evolve into Noctowl. We're going to grab Rare Candy Prime Catcher, I think. Prime Catcher going to be able to target down that Terapagos. We're going to evolve into this Pidgeot EX. Then we're going to double turbo energy onto the Terapagos, prime catcher our opponent's Ogerpon, and then Iono here. See what we get off of the Iono. Iono gives us another Noctowl. I'm not sure that I necessarily want to use that yet, so I think we're going to quick search for our stadium. That's going to unlock more bench spaces here. We have the Buddy Poffin as well as another Terapagos to put down. Currently we're doing 130, and we need to fill up our bench and do a little bit more damage. So we're going to go Buddy Poffin here, and we're going to get ourselves Duskull. Put that on the bench. That brings us a little higher. Not quite there. We need to bench one more thing. So I think it's going to be the Pheasantipede here. And that's going to get us to the damage we need to knock out this Ogerpon. So now we're taking the first 2 prize cards of the game. We have a very good hand with the Noctowl in hand, in a very good spot, I think, to win this game. We have the Duskulls down, so we can get that extra damage that we need to onto our opponent's Raging Bolts that we can't quite get there with Unified Beatdown on the Terapagos. And we'll see what sort of a turn our opponent's able to put together now. One thing that would be unfortunate is if they're able to bump that Area 0. I don't know if they're playing their own Area 0s or if they're playing Pokestop. But if they bump that Area 0, obviously we have to discard our bench down. In that case, we would probably get rid of the Noctowl that's already evolved. Probably the Fan Rotom, and then maybe one of the Duskulls. We'll have to make that decision, though, when we get there, if we get there. Our opponent now putting their own Teal Mask Ogerpon into play, which means they can now bench 8 Pokemon. Pokegear, going to find them that Sada's Vitality. They do have the energy in the discard pile to Sada this turn, but they're going to need 4 energies in play to knock out this Terapagos. Obviously, we didn't get our Bouffalance down, so they don't need the 5 energy that they would need if we did have 2 Bouffalance in play, unfortunately, but I think that's okay. Professor Sada's Vitality being played here, attaching 2 energies from the discard pile to each of their Raging Bolts. We're going to see a Teal Dance here as well. And I think probably what they would want to do here is Prime Catcher KO my Pidgeot or my Pheasantipede. So we'll see what they're able to pull together here. Obviously, they need to switch this Squawkabilly out of the active position. So Prime Catcher is probably the best thing that they would want to do there, and in that case, they'd go after our Pidgeot EX, most likely. Got another Teal Mask Ogerpon here, just even more energy coming into play. Gonna Night Stretcher for that grass energy to Teal Dance. And did they find the pieces that they needed to attack this turn, or at least get a meaningful attack off, which they need a switch card or some sort of switching card to get that Squawkabilly out of the active. Do see that Pokestop coming down. So I think we got to get rid of Noctowl, Fan Rotom. Potentially a Duskull. Yeah, it's probably just got to be a Duskull there. They're discarding their own Pheasantipede, which kind of sucks for them. They would have rather bumped that stadium while that Squawkabilly was on their bench. They do find the switch card off the Pokestop as well as the gusting that they need. So we'll see if they're able to get that Pokemon Catcher Heads. They do hit Tails there, but they do have the switch card, and I believe they already have the Fighting Energy in hand to take this knockout on my active Terapagos. But that means that we do have our Pidgeot EX still available to us, which puts us in a pretty good position. We have the Rare Candy Dusknoir to take the knockout on their Raging Bolt. And that puts us in a pretty good spot. We're going to put up our Pidgeot EX here. That's going to allow us to have that free retreat. And then I think we're just going to start out with a Nest Ball. Nest Ball here can get us a backup Terapagos, which is something that we need for the following turn. Noctowl can get us Rare Candy plus Stadium. I think that's good. So we'll Rare Candy into the Dusknoir. We're going to bump their Stadium. Then it's just going to be a research here. I think now we will flip the script and just see what we draw into. Double Nest Ball. Nest Ball can go find us Bouffalant. Not that it's doing anything right now, but we really just need to load up our bench here. You can attach for turn onto the Terapagos. And then I think there's some cool things we can do here. I think we want to quick search. For the Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher back, a Duskull. Bench that. We're going to pop the Cursed Blast. That means our counter catcher's live. So I think we're going to Cursed Blast. They're active. Retreat into the Terapagos. And then counter catcher. So we could counter catcher Squawkabilly here. Yeah, and I think that's correct. And just unified beatdown. Now we have, I believe, yeah, we still have boss in deck to go after that damaged Raging Bolt if we need to. Actually, the boss wasn't in deck. It was in our prize cards, but we got it off the prize cards. If they take a 2-prize knockout here, our counter catcher is still live. And we're not in a position where we're worried about them briaring us at 2. They just can't do enough damage with the Ogre Pawns, I don't think. So we're not really worried about the Briar here. That is one thing that you have to think about, though, now in this new format, is when you go down to 2 prize cards, are you opening up an avenue for your opponent to win the game? And in this situation, we're not. But that is something that you need to be careful of. I wouldn't be surprised to see them obviously bump our Stadium. They've already supported for turns. They can't disrupt our hand unless they're playing Unfair Stamp, which would be unlikely. So I think we just have game. Even if they go after our Pidgeot, we have Pheasantipity, we have Energy, we have Boss, we have Stadium, we have everything we need. Obviously, they could put us in a weird position by bumping the Stadium and discarding like the guy that we damaged. But I don't think they can necessarily do that because they have so much energy on it and they need to discard energy to attack us. So that would be getting rid of energy in play, which would also put them in a bad position. Superior energy retrieval now from our opponent. We have not seen an ace spec yet. So we'll see what they do. Unfair Stamp would be really annoying, but there's just no way that Raging Bolt is playing that. They need to play the Prime Catcher. So we'll see what kind of turn they're putting together here. Will it just be a knockout on the active Terapagos? If so, that should be game for us. I'm trying to see how many stadiums they're down. They're only down one stadium. There we do see the stadium bump, and that means we're just going to have to get rid of this Noctowl. The only thing that makes difficult is just making sure that we have enough benched Pokemon to take the knockout that we need, but we only need to do 110, so we should be in an all right position. Pokestop does find them a Pokemon catcher. Still have not seen an ace spec from them. Pokemon catcher come down. I imagine they will be targeting the Pidgeot if possible. They do get heads on that Pokemon catcher. That means Pidgeot is going to come up into the active position. They're going to take that knockout. But we just have counter catcher already in hand, ready to take that knockout. $280 coming down onto the Pidgeot. One prize card left for our opponent. So we cannot Duskull, obviously. We cannot pop the Dusclops or whatever's abilities. But we will do that. We will do that. We'll do this. This. We need to do 130. Bring that up. And that is game. So you can see some of the power of this Terapagos deck. Obviously, where it falls short of damage, you can make up for that in the Dusknoirs. And the Pidgeot EX obviously just adds a lot of consistency. The Noctowl is insanely good for getting us set up in the game. Pheasantipity, great for the late game. And then you saw that we do have the Ursaluna in the deck to attack for, a lot less energy later in the game. We could have even just Ursaluna'd that turn as well if we'd had it on the bench. So just that deck is very strong, obviously, and I'm excited to see how it does in this Stellar Crown meta. If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We have a lot more Stellar Crown content coming your way on the channel, and we hope that it has been helpful to you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.